Very well said. I guess the evolution part of it, like when websites or social media is now being evolved to more immersive experiences in the metaverse, is fairly complicated because we are trying to create experiences out of this world, something literally that doesn't exist in this world. And that is when the concept of metaverse without the laws of physics and all the technical capabilities that we have would create an added advantage or an experience for people to go and visit again. I think that being said, there is a very interesting question in the chat section by Purushottam, and the question is blockchain the necessary element of metaverse? And to expand onto that question, I would rather ask that at what point does a virtual reality experience, something that exists and can easily be experienced through a Quest Pro or so many other VR headsets that are out there. At what point does a virtual reality experience starts becoming a metaverse? Gaurav, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll get back to the question of Purushottam. Nice question. Many people have asked, and it has always intrigued me also. It is not, to be very honest. Evolved 3D ecosystems, you do not need blockchain. It is just the technology in the backend where it's, but yeah, that's the tech part of it. But when you see the evolution part of it, see Web 2 and Web 3, the difference is not much in the tech part. This tech was already there. Of course, the 5G, networks and all, they have propelled it, and the pandemic has catapulted it ahead. But otherwise, the tech was almost there. But blockchain enables that, think about an ecosystem where many people, the users own it, like Sandbox. This is where blockchain adds value to it. This is where the co-owning concept comes in. Otherwise, your answer in simple vanilla terms would be the blockchain is not required to make a metaverse, or because you think about Second Life and all. That's an enriched, experience there as well, and that has been existing since long. But then going ahead, if it has to be decentralized, and I'm sure, as you spend more time in the metaverse, there'll be a lot of information that will be ingested by these metaverse platforms. Who owns this information? That's where blockchain comes in the picture. When you talk about, do I own my own data? Right now, every device almost hears you out, like in an Echo or all the speakers there at home. They've already been inside our homes. Refrigerators have started becoming smart refrigerators. Those data inputs have to be stored not in one central repository. It has to be owned by all. That's where blockchain comes in place.
And if I can add something, I believe that like right now, like we will say we don't need blockchain to build 3D environment, to evolve into 3D environment, etc. But I think like if we can think about the layers of the metaverse, I believe that blockchain is one of these layers. So I believe that in the future, if we really want a metaverse, a decentralized metaverse for the people, we will need to use different layers. So the first layer is a web, of course, to offer this connection and this réseau to all of the world. And the second layer will be the blockchain to decentralize and to give and empower the people, because for example, we have one problem that we need to face and that we will face in the years that's come, that remember when Facebook have this data problem, like Facebook having like a data issue and they use our data and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of history about this. We have to imagine that in Meta, in Horizon, for example, where we use hardware. So the data that they will have will be way more massive because they will have eyes tracking, emotion tracking, movement tracking. They will know exactly what we have in our head. And this is also why they're doing this, because they believe in the metaverse, but they also believe that the data is a oil, gold, or whatever, in this new age. So we have to take this very seriously, because blockchain, it can help us to be free on the internet. I remember like back in the day, like when the internet started. The internet before GAFAM, the internet was free, it was for all. And you can find a lot of free service and a lot of free things on it. And now everything is monetized. Now everything is like under GAFAM. Now everything is for data. And if we want to see the same thing in the metaverse, so let's just do nothing. if we don't want to see this reproducing again, and to build the metaverse for all, and to empower the people, and to be not just like a tool to use against us, but to use for us, and to build this all together, I believe that the blockchain will be needed.
Yeah, and I think that's the key word. It's for everybody. It's inclusive. And there's another one very important point. He touched upon the point of empowering people. How do you do that? There is no standard currency across the world, right? So when you open up a creator economy, when people start selling, say, these NFTs in my background, be it a bigger brand like DC, or a smaller brand which is trying to create itself like space punks, all of them can you can purchase them only because the blockchain enables it to do so. And these can be your identities and you can adopt these identities going ahead. So the whole ecosystem is knit well. Of course, there's security elements hugely to be taken care of when it comes to NFTs per se, or there's a lot of practices going on which has to be stopped, but the whole ecosystem is thinking towards it.
Very amazing points brought up. In fact, one of the interesting points was around data security and how much we are sharing in our lives already. And with the extent of our world going from 2D to 3D, the data is also multiplying like that. The data dimensions are also being added. And for one use case that was brought up in one of the past webinars was, what if the insurance companies started tracking how we walk and how long we can stand for, and then based on that, there is actually a medical or a life impact on your insurance, and that kind of malpractices or exploitations of data should not happen if if we give the permission to use such VR headset. And that's the problem with the centralized platforms that exist as of now. We can make it decentralized by using the blockchain. It's another technology. And coming back to the question by Purushottam, whether blockchain is necessary for a metaverse, I believe all of us are more or less aligned on it, that virtual 3D immersive virtual reality experiences can exist. There can be social interaction over there as well. But as Nicholas and Gaurav both pointed out, that there is an added layer of features and technology that can get added if we introduce blockchain and ownership of digital assets via NFTs in turn for that. So that is how I think VR, blockchain, NFT, and metaverse, all of it connects in terms of layers on top of the experience that we're trying to build. Another question in the chat that I see, we are getting interesting questions, so might as well cover them while we are discussing. So what are the thoughts on gamification in the metaverse? We are seeing a lot of live events and concerts happening in games like Fortnite. What will the metaverse replace actual real life concerts? So the question is in two parts. So what is your thoughts on live events that are happening right now for the gaming and entertainment industry? And then how much of it would be replaced in terms of real life concerts?
Well, gamification is a creative industry. It will always be there. And as Nicholas also said, this is just a evolution from the old social I would say non-immersive sites to a more immersive metaverse experience. So gaming would be there. For example, let me take a very simple and very simplistic example. Spin the wheel. You see all of them doing it. I mean, I'll not name the brands, but after shopping something on your favorite e-commerce site, there's a spin the wheel. It's very intuitive. So that model is being adopted by many sports brands, and they are trying to create those similar immersive things in the metaverse. It is fun, right? It is fun. So that's about a game. And about gamification, that's broader than just a game. When you go to gamification, leaderboards, gratifying user for more involvement, that again is a very existing framework which is already there. And a lot of people already understand that. So it does go hand in hand to a lot of extent. But again, I believe here it has to go much beyond gamification or even games. And that's what Meta is trying to build. Initially, I also thought, there's the avatars and everything was very simplistic. but then they want to keep it that way so that the mass comes in. So that's the first part, you know. And the second part, you know, what was the second part? Yeah. Will the metaverse replace actual real live concerts? To a lot of extent, it's happening. In fact, just yesterday, Decentraland and announced, you know, they're having the second music fest, and they already had first one. And now they're onboarding legends like Ozzy Osbourne, you know, 100, because it is never possible. For example, I'm a Metallica fan, old school Metallica fan. I missed them once in India. They came and they went away. Now I keep on searching where they would be landing next. But the metaverse gives me the opportunity to be a part of them wherever they are, you know, being immersive. So, yeah.